Rise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Victoria College was forced to lock down yesterday after a shooting on campus. We're monitoring all developments as police search for the shooter this morning. And an 80-year-old man is dead after crashing head-on into a vehicle yesterday in Victoria. We'll tell you where and how it all happened and the condition of the other driver involved. Across the nation, Don Jr. was back on the witness stand yesterday in a New York civil fraud trial brought against his family and the Trump Organization. We'll tell you what the court is now working to determine, and as his father and younger brother prepare to take the stand again next week.
And we're expecting some beautiful, beautiful weather for the rest of this week before another cold front comes on Monday. We're going to take a look at that in the weather coming up.
We have a preview of the game of the week, which will be played in our own backyard. That and more in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 14th day of November 2023. It's 6:30 on our Tuesday morning. And let's see, we have two national days left to share. We have Family PJ Day. Ooh. If you plan on staying home and in matching PJs, kind of cute. And it's also International Girls Day, so be sure to make some time for those women in your life.
Absolutely.
Well, Parker, it looks like skies will be clearer today. Does that mean less clouds, though?
Well, we're thinking it might be a little cloudy today. Actually going to keep in that heat a little bit because we're going to actually slowly start warming up into the 70s this week. Making a great week to go out and do some stuff this week, but we're starting out a little bit cool this morning. As you take a live look at North Victoria right here. Like I said, a little cool this morning, starting out in the upper 50s right now. 58 is the morning temperature here in the Crossroads. But that dew point at 55, bringing the humidity to a 90%. So the humidity is a little high, but of course, nothing that we're not used to, of course, down here on the coast because you're right here next to that water. Well, if you combine that with all the rain that we had yesterday, just take a look at all these totals we had. A solid majority of us had probably about a quarter inch or so, but along the coast especially had a solid maybe half inch, maybe even up to an inch or so in some areas because I know we got lots and lots of rain over this last weekend. Well, we are going to start warming up over the next few days into the weekend as well. As we start out today in the upper 60s, and we're going to cool down into the upper 50s tonight, and then back into the 70s starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's that first day of a long trek, and actually like a 5-6 days trek of 70-degree weather. But let's take a look at what's going on here. Why are we getting that 70-degree weather? We've got this high pressure. It's currently out in the eastern Great Plains right now, just over Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky right now, which is actually giving us those northerly winds, keeping us in those 70s. Now, normally after a cold front, we go right back to the 80s, and in really humid conditions. But the reason that this is exactly why we're keeping cool right now, at least coolish for the next few days. But then the big thing we're going to have to look at for next week is this new low that's going to develop on the West Pacific. That's going to make landfall in California and make its way our way and slingshot a new cold front coming our way by Monday night. We're going to take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Victoria police found a 30-year-old man with gunshot wounds at a parking lot at Victoria College Monday night. VC alerted students, employees, and first responders on the shooting at their continuing education center building. When VPD made it to the building, officers found the man in the parking lot. The victim was transported to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. VC President Dr. Jennifer Kent says she's thankful for the victim's stable condition.
You prepare for these situations and prepare hoping that you never have to actually enact them, but we're just so very much happy for that situation that the young man is expected to make a full recovery.
The campus went on lockdown for a couple of hours before officers escorted students out building by building. Victoria College confirmed the campus will close for students and employees today out of respect for those that may still be experiencing stress from yesterday's situation. A man was killed after crashing head-on into another vehicle yesterday in Victoria. The crash happened just after 2 p.m. in the 5500 block of North John Stockbauer Drive. Police say 80-year-old Joseph Johnson was driving northbound on John Stockbauer when he drove into oncoming traffic and hit a Jeep Grand Cherokee head-on. Johnson died from his injuries, and the driver of the other vehicle suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to an area hospital for treatment. It's going to be a showdown for two area leaders next spring as they battle it out for the Texas House District 30 seat. In running is Victoria Mayor Jeff Bouknight and former Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback. Mayor Bachnight is no stranger to politics. He served as mayor since 2021 and was elected to city council back in 2013. To run for state office, the Texas Constitution requires Bachnight to formally resign as mayor but remain in his role until another mayor is elected. Mayor Bachnight had this to say: "I'm humbled by the outpouring of support and encouragement I've received from our community to run for the Texas House, and I'm all in." Former Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback is all in as well. Louderback has 40 years of experience in law enforcement and was elected Jackson County Sheriff 5 times. He does not fear a race since he ran for U.S. Congress District 27 in the primary last March against Congressman Michael Cloud. In this race, his biggest plan is to tackle border security head on. As for the City of Victoria, the council will decide whether to hold a special mayoral election on February 3rd. This decision will come from their next meeting on November 21st. And that leads us to your viewer poll. We want to know, you can scan the QR code right there on your screen. We want to know who should be elected for the state representative seat for District 30. Okay, let's take a look. 66% of you say you're going with Mayor Bachnight, and 34% of you say you're back in Louderback. All right, we want to keep hearing from y'all. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. And across the nation, lawyers for former President Donald Trump presented their case in his New York fraud trial Monday. Donald Trump Jr. took the stand again Monday and was the first witness for the defense, with his younger brother Eric and his father expected to be back on the stand later. Prosecutors for the Attorney General bringing the suit, Letitia James, rested their case last week. The judge presiding over the case already found that Trump fraudulently overvalued his assets to obtain better loan deals from banks and insurers. The court is now working to determine what, if any, penalty the former president must pay and if his conduct may have violated other laws. The Supreme Court has adopted a new set of ethical standards, announcing what it called a code of conduct Monday in the wake of allegations of ethics lapses. The 14-page document includes 5 canons of conduct in addition to lengthy commentary. The code requires justices to uphold the integrity and independence of the judiciary and to avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all activities. The court was under scrutiny earlier this year after a ProPublica report claimed Justice Clarence Thomas had taken trips funded by Republican billionaire Harlan Crow without disclosing them. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 5, actually, I keep going back to 5. It's 6:37 on our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. New charges this morning for the Lavaca County Jail inmate who escaped from the work detail last Friday.
Organizers are expecting thousands to gather on the National Mall for today's March for Israel. I'm ABC's Justin Finch with more on security preps and the latest on Israel's war on Hamas.
And coming up after the break, we're going to take a look at that school bus forecast, and we're going to take another look at those warming up temperatures for the rest of the week.
For more than a decade, meteorologist Trey Mining has served as your trusted face at 25 News Now First Warn Storm Team. But now, he faces a different kind of storm.
So I saw a neurologist here in town, and he says, I think it's Parkinson's possibly, but I'm not sure.
Join anchor Carolina Estrain as she presents Trey's Story, a 25 News Now Extra, this Thursday night at 10. Sometimes, the bravest forecasts aren't about the weather.
Good morning, Crossroads. If you are waking up with us this morning, if you're just tuning in, look at a live look up North Victoria right there. We're a little cool out there this morning, but all that rain is finally out of our area. I know we've been so tired of all that rain we've been having the last few days, several days even. Well, we are a little cool this morning. 58 is that morning temperature starting out the day, with the dew point at 55, bringing that humidity to 90%. So it's a little humid out there, but nothing crazy, of course. That's something pretty normal down here on the coast, of course. And if you're sending your kiddos off to school this morning, it's about 58 degrees as they're heading out the door. Most of you cloudy skies, and those cloudy skies are going to stick around for the rest of the day. We're heating up to an 80, not 80, definitely not 80, 68 degrees in the afternoon is that high today. And like we said, we were thinking it was going to be raining this morning, but as you can see, Not a single drop of rain. Now this is not rain down here. This is actually echoes from the radar itself. And actually all that rain that we had over the last few days really took out all the pollen in the areas. You can tell here, tree, grass, ragweed pollen are all non-existent today. So no need to take an allergy pill today. As you look at that 7-day forecast, we're here at the Crossroads to be slowly heating up into the beautiful 70s by the late week and this weekend. But then here comes another cold front, bringing us to probably the 50s next week. We're going to take a look at that and more in just a few moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Two Crossroads football teams have the potential to play each other again for the next round of playoffs. Sports Director Gino Perez has more.
At a Crossroads, it's the second week of the Texas High School football playoffs, and there will be another playoff game here in Victoria at Memorial Stadium. The Edna Cowboys are getting back in a rhythm after losing to Goliad for what would be the district title. Edna is on a 3-game win streak, beating Mathis, Aransas Pass, and Rio Hondo. In each of those games, Edna has scored at least 49 points in those 3 contests. It'll be a Cowboys versus Indians matchup on Thursday night when the Jourdanton Indians and Edna Cowboys come to town. The 8-2 Cowboys hope to pull out the upset against the undefeated Indians. Kickoff is at 7 at Memorial Stadium. And another big game going on this week is between the Industrial Cobras and the Randolph Roadhawks. Industrial is also on a 3-game win streak, scoring at least 45 points in the past 3 games. This year, the Cobras have played 6 teams that made the playoffs. Head coach Craig Nairn said this team has no quit in it. That's your 25 Sports Now.
Thank you, Gino. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today. Plus, you can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Turning to the nation's capital, where thousands are expected today for a march in support of Israel. The Department of Homeland Security designating that rally as a level 1 security event. It's the highest risk classification. Meantime, as Israel and Hamas escalate attacks, there's growing concern about Gaza's hospitals caught in the crossfire.
Overnight, final preparations on the National Mall for today's March for Israel in Washington, D.C. With organizers expecting a crowd of tens of thousands, security is top of mind. D.C.'s mayor also requesting support from the National Guard amid rising threats, though law enforcement officials are not tracking any specific actionable threat to the march. Homeland Security officials are classifying the rally as a level 1 security event, its highest designation.
You can hear the tank firing down the street.
In the war zone, Gaza's overwhelmed hospitals facing increasing danger. The Israeli Defense Forces taking ABC's Matt Gutman inside a northern Gaza children's hospital that the IDF says Hamas militants were using as a command post and even to hold hostages.
Those AK-47s look pretty old and rusty. I mean, was this a crack force that was here?
No. Some of the gear was operationally gear, but also some of the terrorists fled away. It shows us the war machine Hamas is conducting from hospitals.
The IDF also claiming Hamas turned the nearby Al-Shifa hospital into a stronghold. 2 White House officials saying the U.S. has intelligence supporting that, but doctors refute that, saying the hospital is no longer functioning and had to remove premature babies from incubators without electricity. President Biden reiterating his concerns about conditions surrounding that critical hospital.
And it's my hope and expectation that there will be less intrusive action relative to the hospital. The hospital must be protected.
The White House also saying the U.S. is continuing to work on getting fuel supplies to Gaza's hospitals and allowing evacuations for patients in danger. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
New charges this morning for the Lavaca County Jail inmate who escaped from a work detail last Friday. 63-year-old Donald Keith Kirkman was recaptured Friday night and faces a felony charge of escape. Kirkman is held on bonds totaling $130,000 from 4 previous charges. He faces a drug charge and was in on a probation violation. He's also in custody accused of bail jumping, failure to identify, failure to appear, and for being a fugitive trying to get false information. A former Wharton ISD teacher's aide faces up to 2 years in prison if she's convicted of injury to a child. The El Campo Leader News reports a 4-count indictment was handed down against 67-year-old Donna K. Plunkett in October. She's accused of striking 2 students in the face and head and in a life skills class that was on an elementary campus on October 21st, 2022. Plunkett was dismissed by the Wharton ISD following an investigation that reviewed surveillance footage. The time is now 6:46 on your Tuesday morning. Still to come, a federal survey found about 1 in 6 American adults and adolescents had a substance use disorder last year. Okay, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Valerie, wishing you a happy belated birthday. And we had all a great time at your birthday dinner at Roadhouse. We love you from your family and animals.
And happy birthday to John. Shout out to John on his birthday. May God give you peace, happiness, and prosperity all year long. Love, Michelle.
Happy birthday to Charlotte. Love Mom, Dad, and Hudson.
And happy birthday today to Mr. Kourtney Kardashian. Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker is 48 today. Look at that.
Happy birthday to Kirby. Happy birthday to my son Kirby. Hope you have a great day and we love you from your family.
And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com. Click on More and under Home, UCKABU to submit your birthday.
And the time is now 6:47 on our Tuesday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today.
Yes, happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. Well, the rain is finally through, and here comes the sun. It's going to be a nice week this week. As we take a look what's going on here, our temperatures can actually be warming to the 70s for the rest of the week ahead of a cold front that comes next week. We'll take a look here. We got this high pressure that's actually lining up nicely with this low, this tropical low rather, out in the Gulf right now. That's actually giving us those northerly winds, keeping us in the 70s instead of keeping us in the 80s. For the next few days and over the weekend as well. And then we're going to get another cold front to come off of this big, deep trough that's going to enter, actually make landfall in California late this week. And that low will actually, once it makes landfall, it's going to quickly move eastbound towards the Colorado Rockies and quickly develop right over the Panhandle. And it's actually that low in particular is going to slingshot this Arctic polar low. That's a polar low and polar front that's going to move our way by Monday night into Tuesday morning, bringing us into some cool temperatures next week. Today, though, it's going to be nice and warm, about upper 60 today. Then tomorrow's the first day we're going to be in the 70s. And coming up a little bit, we're going to take a look at what those temperatures are going to be for next week and the rest of this week, and a few other things as well. For now, back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. A federal survey found about 1 in 6 American adults and adolescents had a substance use disorder last year. Of those 49 million people, about 30 million abused alcohol and 27 million had a drug use disorder, including about 6 million with an opioid use disorder. About 8 million had both alcohol and drug use disorders. About 2.5 million more people experienced substance use disorders in 2022 than in 2021. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra says the data confirms the opioid crisis remains one of the greatest public health challenges in the U.S. President Biden has requested billions of dollars to strengthen substance use disorder services and address drug trafficking. Those buying houses in the current housing market are older and wealthier. New data released Monday from the National Association of Realtors says the median age for a repeat buyer was 58 years old. That's up significantly from a median age of 36 years old in 1981. Older buyers are edging out younger ones who are struggling to get into the market for the first time due to surging interest rates and high home prices due to low inventory. Older buyers are also wealthier. That's because many of them sold their old homes and made a huge profit before buying another one. Home sellers are older too. The typical home seller in 2023 was 60 years old. Data shows that they often go with the potential buyer making the most attractive offer, which gives older buyers a leg up. Still to come on Sunrise News to know before you go. All lanes of I-55 in Louisiana reopen Monday. I-55 in Louisiana reopened Monday. It comes after a deadly pileup involving more than 150 vehicles 3 weeks ago. The northbound lanes from La Place to Panchitoula was closed since October 23rd to allow crews to do cleanup, repair the highway, and install a new guardrail. It's believed a super fog, a mixture of dense fog and smoke from wildfires, caused a series of crashes. Those summoned for jury duty today at the Justice of the Peace Precinct 4 in Victoria County are asked to not appear. Today's 8:30 a.m. trial is canceled and will not be rescheduled. Health officials in Nebraska have declared a public health emergency for those exposed to tuberculosis at a Douglas County YMCA. The health department says they're looking into more than 550 people who were exposed to the disease. The exposure happened between May and October after an individual in Douglas County was identified to have a case of active tuberculosis. The active case was someone in the Westview YMCA Child Watch, an area where parents can drop off children while using the facility. Tuberculosis in children 4 years old and younger can develop into a serious illness very quickly. Children's Nebraska tested 272 children ages 4 and under who were potentially exposed in the past 10 weeks. So far, all those tests have returned negative. This week is Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, and today is Cleaning Day. Shower and laundry services will be offered today at specific locations around town. You can get a shower from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at C3 Victory Church. That's at 1604 East Crestwood, and laundry can be done today from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Quick Wash. That's at 4301 North Bend, Jordan. U.S. Representative Pat Fallon is quitting Congress and running for his old seat in the Texas Senate. Fallon filed Monday for Senate District 30, a seat that is newly open after its incumbent Senator Drew Springer announced Tuesday he would not seek re-election. Read the story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Let's take another look at our viewer poll. So far, we have 2 area leaders that have filed for their candidacy for the District 30 State House Representative seat. Okay, let's take a look. We ask y'all, who should be elected to that seat? 63% of you say you're going with Jeff Bachnight, and 37% of you say AJ Louderback. We want to keep hearing from y'all. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote. And now let's get a look at our forecast with Parker. Parker, we just had a story about some dangerous fog. Do we anticipate any fog later this week?
No, we're not really thinking any fog out there, because you take a look at the Cuero live camera here. Very beautiful morning. Look at this. That sun comes up. Pretty purple clouds out there. But like you were saying, Carolina, that fog is not really expected today, as we have a humidity of just 83% right now, with that temperature in the upper 50s, making a nice cool morning this morning for some of us. I mean, I know some of us don't like that cold, but I for one don't. But it is going to be warm enough, so don't fret if you don't like the cold. We're going to be up to the upper 60s today, and then warming up to the 70s starting tomorrow. We're actually going to be a little like a 5-6 day trek of 70 temperatures for the next few days. But as we take a look at what's going on here, this is the reason why we're seeing those 70s instead of 80s. Because usually after a cold front comes through, we usually get like 80s and 90s right back in the area. But we've got this high pressure and that low that's actually giving us those northerly winds in the area for the next few days, keeping us in the 70s for the rest of this late week and this weekend, making it a great weekend to go out and do something. And there's going to be another cold front coming on Monday, which we will take a look at tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, soup season continues, Parker. We'll be making some soups later this week. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join us tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.